fill our homes with your presence. For you are worthy of our reverence. Come and fill our homes with your presence. For you are worthy of our reverence. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. We will serve the Lord.
Praise the Lord. If you truly belong to the family of God, praise the Lord. Amen. I want you to join your hands with your neighbor as we take this song as a family. We are here. Oh, the Father. We are joined with the Son. We are children of the kingdom. We are family. We are one. We are heirs. We are heirs of the Father. We are joined here. We are joined with the Son. We are children of the kingdom. We are family, family, family. We are one. One more time, we are here. We are heirs of the Father. We are joined with the Son. We are children of the kingdom. We are family, family, family. We are one. Put your two hands together for Jesus. You want to give your neighbor a high five? Are they smiling? Do they look like they are heirs of the kingdom? Give them a drum roll. Glory be to God. You may be seated in God's presence. God bless you this morning. And God bless the choir very much. You will do greater things in Jesus' name. Our text this morning is from 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 1, Ephesians 5, 22 to 26, and then, where am I saying? And then to chapter 6, verse 9. All right. 1 Corinthians 3, 1. And I, brethren, could not speak unto you as unto spiritual, but as unto carnal, even as unto babes in Christ. Ephesians 5, from verse 22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and is the Savior of the body. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be unto their own husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church, and gave himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Not when they are witches. Obey your parents in the Lord, whether they are witches or not. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth. And ye fathers, Provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and the admonition of the Lord. Servants, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh, with fear and trembling, in singleness of your heart, as unto Christ. Not with eye service, as men pleasers, but as the servants of Christ, doing the will of God from the heart, with good will doing service as to the Lord, and not unto men. Knowing that whatsoever good thing any man doeth, the same shall he receive of the Lord, whether he be bond or free. Verse 9, the last verse. And ye masters, do the same things unto them, forbearing, threatening, knowing that your master also is in heaven. Neither is there respect of persons with him. Praise the Lord. Today is Family Sunday, and it's my pleasure to welcome you once again to this Family Sunday. We are Family Sunday on the 4th Sunday of any month that has 5 Sundays. So because July has 5 Sundays, then that's why we have Family Sunday. But on other months with 4 Sundays, then we don't have Family Sunday. Our focus this morning is on our spiritual family. That is we as a church, and not on our biological family. But we shall focus on that in a way, because what takes place in the biological family also have implications for the spiritual family. It affects what happens in the church. So there is no way the two are not intertwined. From the text that we have read, the one in 1 Corinthians 3:1, Paul says, I couldn't speak to you as spiritual, but as carnal, because you are yet babes. And then in the Ephesians 5 and 6 text that we read, we saw that for every category of people that you can find in a family, by the way, the Greek word oikos is what is used to mean family or household. And that household can refer to either the physical, biological household, or it can refer to the spiritual household of faith, or the household of God, so to say. So in that Ephesians 5, all the way to chapter 6, verse 9, from Ephesians 5:22, we saw Paul talking to the different categories of people that you can find in a family. The nuclear family in the ancient time, as in many African families, not necessarily Western family. When you talk about the nuclear family, it's not just father, mother, and the children. It's father, mother, the servants, everybody that lives under that household. They are grandparents, parents, and all that. They are part of the household. So in this text, Paul was talking to the different categories. Talks to wives to submit to their husbands, talks to husbands to love their wives, talks to the children, because each person plays different roles. The person who plays the role of a father is also playing the role of a father. So he talks to him as the husband and then as a father, not to provoke the children. And he talks to the children, what is their responsibility towards their parents. And he talks to the servants. And then because maybe the man of the house is also the master of those servants, so he talks to the masters as well. So, but what we see that is common to these different categories of people in the injunction that Paul gave them is that he links it up with the Lord somehow. He's not just giving them an instruction as a family. He's making them to realize that you as an oikos, as a household, as a family, you are a household in relation to the Lord. You are a Christian family, it has to be in relation to the Lord. You're not a family in respect of what happens out there in the secular world, but in relation to the Lord and to your Christian walk with the Lord. So you find him talking about, he says, wives submit herself to the Lord, husband love them as Christ loves the church. Like that. Everything is intertwined with the Lord. The Lord has to be in the picture. If the Lord is not in the picture in your home, then forget it. That's not a Christian home. Because sometimes you can find couples arguing and say, no, put the Bible aside. We are not talking Bible here. If you have lost it. Because whatever is, maybe you are not talking about principles of the world, principles of economics, what is going on out there, what is this. You have lost it if you are like that. Because your relationship and everything that has to do with you has to have its roots in the Lord and in what the Lord says. This morning we are talking about spirituality and the Christian family. Spirituality and the Christian family. But can you please close these doors slightly? The breeze that is coming out of there is too much for me. Yes, you can, so that you can hear as well. Thank you. So, the 1 Corinthians 3 text that we read distinguishes between carnality and spirituality. He says, I could not speak to you as spiritual men, but as unto carnal. So he pitches spirituality against carnality. That the people in the church in Corinth, they are carnal people. And then he says, so if I have to speak to you, I have to speak to you as babes, as carnal people. Carnal people are those who live according to the flesh. Everything that they do is based on what their flesh is telling them. Everything that they are thinking is based on what the flesh is dictating to them. So if they see, even though they are Christians, born again, blood washed, tongue talking, but then they see a beautiful girl in a micro mini skirt with half of her boobies out, and then as she's catwalking as if she was in Hollywood or somewhere, then somebody says, that girl is hot, go after her. And then you go after her. That is the carnal mind. That's not a spiritual person. The carnal person is the one that is still watching pornographic shots or movie or clips, or sometimes they don't have the courage to watch a full-blown pornographic movie from the beginning to the end. But they can watch clips of naked women doing hot things. That's a carnal mind. So Paul says, I cannot talk to you as spiritual people, that you are carnal. The carnal person cannot forgive the other person easily. Even when, yes, it is clear that they are wronged. You wronged them, but they cannot let go of that wrong. They will justify themselves that, no, he is the one that wronged me. So why should I talk to that person again or forgive them? Even when they are in the wrong, they still justify their wrongdoing, and they will be ready to fight that person to a standstill. I was talking with a friend's husband. I didn't wrong him. So now he refused to talk to me. It was his wife's birthday, so I called. And then I asked, where is your husband? He said he's here. Then he told him that I wanted to speak to him. He said, no, that one is just a big baby, full of it. Even though he's been a Christian for many years, he said, no, he doesn't want to talk to me. So the wife put the phone on speaker. So the wife was saying, you don't mind him, he's just spoiled. He's a spoiled child of God. I said, no, this one is not a child of God. He's supposed to be a man of God. So if he's still behaving as a child, then something is wrong. I was saying it to his hearing, not behind him. I don't talk about people behind them. If I say anything behind you, I can say it before you. What will you do to me if I say it before you? So, the people who talk behind others, they are cowards. If you have to say the thing before the person. So I told him, I said, I didn't wrong you. So if you have aught against me, when you are cool, take your phone and call me. So, but I said, I don't have anything against you. Then I laughed. I'm sure he was smiling where he was, but later the one called me to apologize again. I said, no, that one, you forget. He said, it's your child. What can you do? I said, it's okay. Let him go. He said, just pray for him. Big baby. They never grow. They are very carnal. Little things that you can overlook and move on with your life. They hold it in their hearts. Such people, Paul says, they are babes. So, when one is spiritually minded, then what dictates the issues of your life from morning till night is a God consciousness. There's a consciousness of God inside you. There's a consciousness of God around you that, even though it looks like I'm walking alone physically, but I'm not alone. God is there with me. So if God is present with me, whatever I will not say, if Jesus was physically present, then I shouldn't say it because I know He's still present with me. Whatever I will not do, when Jesus is physically present, then I shouldn't do it now because He's still present with me, even though I cannot see Him with my eyes. Hallelujah. Wherever I will not go, if Jesus is physically present, think about it. Those of you who still go to the dancing club and to the pubs, if Jesus was walking with you, hand in hand, physically, are you going to ask Him, Jesus, let's stop by in that dancing hall. I want to dance a little and smoke a little. You will never say that. So why do you go to places where you know He will not go with you? Why do you go secretly, you as a man, into the house of a girl that you are not married to, and you quickly close the door, and then early in the morning, 5 a.m., before people will wake up, you already stick out of that place? Why would you do it if you knew Jesus was walking with you all the time? By the time you do those things, immediately you step into that place, Jesus backs up. He will not go in there with you because He knows what you're going to do in there. The Bible says that God is of a purer eyes than to behold iniquity. He cannot watch all those pornographic stuff with you. He cannot be with you when you are masturbating. He will leave immediately. That's the reality. And whatever you are not going to do, when you know that the trumpet is about to sound in the next 5 minutes, then don't do it, even when you don't know when the trumpet will sound. Don't do it. You say, oh, it's so hard. That's your flesh talking. Let's look at two characteristics of spirituality this morning, just two. Because I'm conscious of time. Today is Family Sunday. We still have 1 or 2 things to do before we round up the service. The first thing has to do with obedience. Obedience. If you want to sum up what spirituality is, it is simply obedience, 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 obedience. There is no other synonym for it. Obedience, obedience. If you want to be a spiritual person, not carnal, the key is obedience. Are you obeying God? The laws of God are there. His word is true. It's here and amen. Are you obeying the word of God? Because that's the primary point to start. Obeying the word. When you're obeying the word, then the Lord will take you to an extra level or the next level where the Holy Spirit will begin to say things to you or guide you from His side. And when you start to obey that leading from the inside, like you want to say, oh, you are, sis, what's your name? Lizzie. Lizzie. Okay, so Sister Lizzie, she's walking up. And then she says, I want to go to Clement's house. That's in her heart. And the Holy Spirit said, don't go there. Don't go there. You say, but I haven't seen him for some time. He promised to come yesterday, he didn't come. Go. Holy Spirit, why are you saying this? It's just to visit. There is nothing. Who said there was nothing? Then you still go anyway. That is disobedience. It doesn't earn you any point with God. It doesn't earn you any point at all. You know when you go and buy pick up and you have your smart shepherd's card. For every purchase you get points, right? And that will translate into something for you later. For that disobedience, you don't get any points. It's a markdown. It's a markdown. Pick and pay will not mark you down, but Holy Ghost will mark you down. Because you see you as a disobedient child. He will still give you some room, and then later, maybe the following day, you are there at your cell phone, texting, what, just going from one distance to another, from Facebook to Instagram to WhatsApp, and then he says, that's enough now. You say, no, I've not checked my status today. I've not done this today. There's this thing I meant to post. Then you still go on, next 1 hour, 2 hours. That's disobedience. When you are at that level, what the Holy Spirit will do eventually is that He will stop guiding you all together. He will just leave you to your own devices. Then you go back to step 1, which is obedience to the word. If you obey the word again and doing it diligently, Deuteronomy 28 verse 1, it says, if you hearken to the voice of the Lord your God, you diligently obey Him. So then it tells you all the promises that go with it. So if you don't see that you are doing well with the word, you are obeying the word, He says don't be a tale bearer, then you stop all the gossip. He says you must not forsake the assembly of one another. Then you go into church diligently when you are doing those things. And he sees that, this person is making progress. He will go back to that step 2 and start guiding you eternally. And when you are obeying as He's guiding you, there are things you will know naturally. You're just angry because somebody said this to you, or because your husband did this or said this, and you're angry, and He says, stop that anger. And you say, yes, Lord. Because man's anger does not promote the righteousness of God. You can spoil many things through anger. Anger can never build. Nothing good can come out of it. That kind of anger in the flesh that you do, just simple things, you don't even let the person explain, you are angry. So when He sees that you are past that stage, then He will take you higher still. And then He will begin to speak to you in other ways that are supernatural. He will begin to speak to you clearly, mouth to mouth, face to face, as He spoke with Moses. But these things come with obedience. Obedience is key to spirituality. You can never attain spirituality if you're a very disobedient person. Disobedience to God and His Word and His Spirit, and disobedience to constituted authorities. You know, some of us are so stiff-necked. Many times you read these things about the children of Israel, about how stubborn they were, about how rebellious they were, and all that. And then you say, these people, they are just, I don't know what to say to them. They are not right. But we forget that many times we are worse than these children of Israel. We are still as stiff-necked as the children of Israel. If it's a constituted authority in church, they tell you something, you say they are saying I won't be there. I won't do it. Doesn't matter what they say. When you are at that level, you are far from spirituality, you are still a babe. And then what will happen? We treat you as such. Praise the Lord. Like Paul, he said, I can't speak to you serious things. I'll just speak to you like, these little children. He said, oh, come on, girl. Oh, fine girl. Okay, clap for so. That's what we'll be doing to you. We'll be cheering you in your foolishness. Praise the Lord. Tell your neighbor, won't you grow up? So the second thing that has to do with spirituality this morning is that spirituality comes by training. It comes by what? Training. The one who is spiritual, who is carnal, does not have any respect for spiritual things. No respect for spiritual things. They flout spiritual laws with impunity, When you are spiritual or you are aiming for spirituality, it comes by training, by training, by training. Yes, you're going to miss it many times. God is not focused on the fact that you missed it. He's focused on the discipline that you're exercising to get it right the next time. So, training how? Let's start from what we call simply home training. From that Ephesians text that I said that whatever is taking place in the biological family affects or has implications for what is happening in the spiritual family. So let's begin with home training. There are some people, you only need to spend 5-10 minutes with them. Then you know that this person has proper home training. Whether in church or outside church, you will know from the way they behave, from the things they say, you will know whether that person was trained from home and they accepted that training. Because it's one thing for you to be trained from home, it's another thing for you to accept that training. So, but when somebody has home training, you will know it. You will know it. How does it come? When you teach children from very little to respect others, to be mindful of the things that has to be feelings of others, you will discover that those children, when they grow up, they do not find it difficult to reverence God. They do not find it difficult to relate well with others when they become born again. But children who are badly raised, you see it in them, even in the household of God, in their behavior, in the things they say, how they hurt others without caring. You will see it in them. But when a child is properly raised from home, and I'm talking to mothers and fathers in the house, some fathers leave all the training to the mother. They don't do anything. In fact, they go ahead and spoil the children. You are posing, setting them up for a very dangerous future. There are some fathers that their children can get away with murder with them. Even if the mother wants to discipline, they say, leave this child. I told you, don't touch this child. If you train your child properly the way that child should go, the Bible says when he or she grows up, he will not depart from it. But children do not just see what you say. They are looking to train them, they are looking at what you do. You are telling them, don't do this, don't do that. But they see you doing the same thing. You are telling them, don't tell lies. I've already told you, God does not like lies. Don't tell lies. And then they hear you on the phone. Where are you? Oh, no, I'm sorry, we are in Joburg. We are in Joburg. So you are not at home. And you are right there in your living room. And your child is pretending to be playing whatever game on the phone, but they can hear everything that you are saying. And they know that mom said not to tell lies, but she's telling lies. So all I need to do is to wait until I'm grown. Then I also have liberty to tell my own lies. Training, it comes from modeling. The best way to train your child is to just be a good example. Is to be a good example. So when children are properly trained, you will discover that when they get born again, in the household of God, they don't find it difficult to relate with other people. The people that you find, when they say there is crisis in church, two people are fighting, they are reporting this person to that person, we take the matter to pastor, this person did that, this person, those kind of people, check it properly. You didn't have the right home training. You may say, give yourself an excuse that, it's because my parents were not there, they didn't raise me. That's a lie. Many times, people are raised by other people, even have more training than those who are raised by their biological parents. So, there is no excuse in that to say, my father died early, and then my mother was poor, so she had to give me over to an aunt. So what? You need to spend just 5 minutes. I remember once I was going to board a flight, and then we were in a queue. We had passed through all the security. We were just about to enter into the aircraft itself, but it was a queue. So we were on that queue, and then this young man came, somewhere from the back, and he just marched, and then squeezed himself in the front of the person who was before me. Then, I think he was eating something, maybe some snacks or what was. When he finished, he just squeezed it and just threw it by the side of the entrance of the aircraft like that. Then the person before me, the young man too, he looked at me and said, he was badly raised. I couldn't agree more. You will know. If his mother raised him properly, he will not jump the queue and slash into the people who are before him without any excuse me, without, what's his hurry? We're all going in the same aircraft. And then he has something through the wrapper just on the floor there. He has no regard for the people who clean up after him. Why couldn't he wait until he gets into the aircraft, then he can put that trash in the pocket of his seat? And when the people are collecting trash, he will give it to them. You don't need to spend eternity with those who have no manners before you know that they don't have manners. And spiritual training, if you are it comes from that as well. There are some people, they may know the word, they may speak in tongues more than Paul, the apostle himself, who said he spoke in tongues more than ye all. Maybe your own tongue is even more than the apostle Paul's. But when you don't have the emotional capacity to relate with other people, you're speaking in tongues and quoting of Bible is in vain. And it's those people who create problems in the house of God. Yes, you may have all the before they say this thing, you already know the answer in quiz, in Sunday school. You are taught, you know the word. We give it to you, you know the word. You can pray, we give it to you. You can speak in tongues. But it doesn't make you spiritual. Spirituality comes from little courtesies, from manners, from due reverence to God and to constituted authority. Spirituality comes in respecting other people, in deferring to other people. Spirituality comes from humility of the soul. And some people, and forget about that kind of face thing. It is in your heart. You know you are very arrogant. But when they tell you something, you pretend. And you say yes. But in your mind, it's like you are throwing daggers at that person. That's not spirituality either. So when you begin, even if you didn't have proper home training, you are not in a spiritual family where you can take advantage of the training that it offers you to develop yourself spiritually, to become a person that God himself can say, yes, this one is spiritual. This one is going places. Spirituality, it does not have to do with having spiritual gifts, Yes, you may have spiritual gifts, but if you are not spiritual, that spiritual gift can destroy you. Oh yes, you can sing. You are speaking tongues more than the tongues of angels. You can interpret tongues and prophesy. But if you are not spiritual, that gift will destroy you one day. Mark my words. If you do not start to train yourself, exercise yourself in God consciousness, to be conscious of the one who called you every day, and then we can become the true family of God, that God can be proud of. That even the powers of hell will be afraid of. Because we are one in the Spirit. We are minding the things of the Spirit. We are minding the things of God. When the Lord gave me this message on Thursday, one thing that stood out clearly, I couldn't believe it myself because to some extent I'm guilty as well. It says, in this dispensation, the greatest enemy of spirituality is the self. This thing in front of you. Some of you have it in your pocket. That's the greatest enemy of spirituality. Then I quickly start flashing my mind back because I'm privileged to have walked with God in the days where there were no cell phones. And I know what life was like then. And I know what life is like now, that the cell phone is so commonplace that every Dick, Tom and Harry has it. And I see that it's a big enemy, truly. You are praying. You've already said, this hour I want to pray. And then, beep, 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 message is coming, beep, beep, email coming, beep, beep. What is it, temptation? You want to just check who sent it, right? So you interrupt that prayer just to check. And then once you check, this one is urgent. Then you look, okay, you quickly reply. You are praying. You are talking to the King of Kings. Something you can't even do in front of your supervisor. But you are with the King of Kings and you're checking your cell phone just like that. Sometimes it's not even any message coming in. It's just your thought saying, oh, I said I'll send this message yesterday or I'll reply this yesterday. Okay, then you just, without thinking, you just go to the cell phone. You start typing. You can't be spiritual with this cell phone. I'm telling you. Some of you don't have a Bible. You use Bible on your cell phone. Cell phone is not Bible. I don't know how many times I need to say it. Cell phone is not Bible. It's not Bible. Don't take sacred things and you commonize them. You call what is sacred common. How can the word of God, how can you say that cell phone is the word of God when it's that same word that you are watching pornography on the same cell phone? Think about it. You are abusing people on that cell phone, telling them you are idiot, they are this, that, on that cell phone. You say it's Bible. It's not Bible. If you don't get a Bible like this, you have not even started. Trust me, you have not started. Because one of the devices of the devil in these last days is this cell phone. It has a lot of advantages, but it's going to take a lot of Christians to hell. I'm saying it's not my words. For some of you, when they say, can somebody read from us from Hebrews chapter 4? Did you think your cell phone? As you are doing it, WhatsApp message is coming, you see that it's this person that sent it. Then you are thinking, after I've finished reading, then I'll quickly check. Are you in God's presence at all? Prayer is going on. Message is going on. You see some people chatting, talking. This side, I see that happening too many times. You have no respect for God's presence. You are talking irrelevant things when the message is going on. You are talking nonsense when prayer is going on. Some people are even doing sermon analysis when message is going on. What can you get out of that message that day? Nothing. Nothing. We have to move from the level where we are as a family of God. We cannot afford to remain babes forever. Who, as a parent, would have a child at 10 years old? That child is still weeing in their pants, wetting the bed, doing all kinds of things. Don't you know that you have crisis? So, but some of you are like that spiritually. Paul, the writer of Hebrews, said at the time that when some of you ought to be teachers. In Hebrews chapter 6, he said we are still teaching you the basics, the elementary principles of Christ. Because they have to teach them and reteach them the same thing. Because they are hard of hearing. How long will you continue to show disrespect in the presence of God? Distracting other people. Somebody wants to talk to you when someone is going on or prayer is going on. After. The person is not spiritual and you are on your way to spirituality. Then refuse for them to pull you back. Praise the Lord. Let me round up quickly. There's so much to say, but there's little time. I hope this cell phone that you are holding and your tablet or tablets, I hope they will not remove you eventually from God's presence. I hope you will learn to be disciplined and trained enough to know this is prayer time, cell phone, either off or in another part where I can't hear even if you are doing what ping, beep, beep, I don't hear it. And if I hear it, I learn to ignore it. Praise the Lord. I give myself an excuse that, because I'm pastor, there's emergency. It's a lie. Many times there's no emergency. So let me just pray my own prayer, JJ. And that prayer will be useful for that emergency even. Benefits to the person who is spiritual. Lastly, I'll just give us 3. And then we will pray. The first one is spiritual discernment. Spiritual discernment. The one who is spiritual is able to discern things. Is able to know the difference between right and wrong. Is able to distinguish between God's Spirit and other spirit. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 14. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 14. Are we there? It says, for the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God. That is the carnal man. He cannot receive the things of the Spirit of God. He's always arguing. He's always querying. He's always analyzing something. He says, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. So the one who is spiritual, then he will be able to discern the things of God. He will be able to say, yes, this is what this is saying. This is what it means. And I pray that you increase in discernment in Jesus' name. The second thing is that, if you go to the next verse, that person also has spiritual judgment. Spiritual judgment. Go to verse 15. He says, but he that is spiritual judgeth all things, yet he himself is judged of no man. Because if you judge things for yourself, nobody is going to judge you. If you judge yourself that if I say this thing, it's going to cause trouble, so I won't say it, then nobody can judge you. They can only judge you if you go ahead and say it. When in your heart you know it's wrong. So you're able to weigh things, you're able to judge them before you make decisions. That's the advantage of the person who is spiritual compared to the person who is carnal, who just very foolish. Anything comes to their head, they act on it immediately. They don't weigh things, they don't weigh the consequences. They don't think, okay, this action that I'm about to take, where is it going to lead? They just go headlong and do that thing that they want to do. The last thing, just for the purpose of this sermon, is that the spiritual person, go to Romans 8, verse 6, to make it fast, obtains renewed life continually. You have life all the time, not death, not things that pertain to death. He says to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. When you are spiritually minded, you have peace, you are settled in your heart, you have life. But it says to be carnally minded is death. Yes, because you can say the wrong thing that will cause people to put you to death. You can do the wrong things when you are carnally minded that will make someone swear that until you die they will not stop following you. To be carnally minded is death. It gets you into all kinds of unimaginable trouble. I remember someone, a couple, the husband, you see that they do their They are God-loving people, church people. And then, in the estate where they are staying, this gated community, I think he was going out and a little boy of about 10 or 12, a neighbor's son, was doing something. They told him, get out of the way. The boy didn't. He just got out of his car and slapped this boy. And then the boy went to report to his father. The father went to open a docket with police. Then they went to court. These are people who are just trying to manage their lives with little income coming. Now there is a court case. They have to pay lawyer. They have to be going to lawyer. They cry to mommy, but my pastor, pray, please pray. I said, I will pray. But what led him to that point? His carnality. He couldn't control his anger. The child did something stupid. You could just go and later report it to the parent. Because you don't know what kind of parent. But for prayers, that guy could have landed in jail. But for prayers. Because he's an query. So, and the other fellow that he clapped his child is a native. So, everything is against him. He's wrong, he's a foreigner. So, they just throw him into jail and lock the key and forget it. To be carnally minded is death. Watch the things you say. Watch the things you do. Watch the things you think about. If we can do this, as a family of God, we are going to grow. And as a biological family also, we see a lot of progress and transformation in our midst. We will see a lot of favor coming out to us because we are doing things not based on our flesh, but according to the dictates of God. Shall we rise to our feet?
Give myself away. Give myself away. So you can use me. Give myself away. I give myself away so you can. Come on, let him know. I give myself away. I give myself away so you can use me. I give myself away. What would happen if a generation embraced this? Come on, tell them, here I am. Here I am.